Well, welcome back to DCTV for us, and more on the revolution of Johnny Boy. So, we got to ask ourselves a question. You know, there's been gun control on the table, on the books for a long time. And so far, has that prevented mass killings in the United States? Not even close. So, we have to look at other venues and other ways to solve this problem. Now, like any problem, the best way to fix a societal problem or a community problem is to start in your own home. So, having your children and your household members fully trained in how to use a firearm safely would be a top priority in this particular case, because you can't put laws on the book and expect a criminal to abide by them. After all, by definition, a criminal is someone who breaks the law. They have no regard for it, they're not going to listen to it, and they're just not having any of it. So what will stricter gun laws do? Well, first, it will limit the freedoms of people who are law-abiding citizens. Second of all, it will limit the people who make a living selling firearms and making firearms. It's a big industry. And to me, that's sad. You know, here's the thing. Let's look at the drug problem that we have, like meth. Okay, Sudafed no longer is allowed to be sold just on the shelves because criminals broke the law and started making illegal substances that were killing people. Well, now you have to go back behind the counter to get it. And then you have to sign up for it. So has that law stopped anything? No. Why? Because they're criminals. They're going to break the law. That's what they do. By definition, that is who and what they are. Every day, there's another meth lab taken down somewhere. We're not solving the problem with laws. It starts with us. Personal responsibility. Making sure that, first off, your own household is clean and taken care of. And then helping your neighbor. So we're not talking about a privacy issue here. We're talking about a community coming together to solve a problem. So let's say that like a flood happens. The first thing I'd want to do is secure my own home. And then the right thing to do inside a community would be to go to my neighbors' houses and help them if I could. And in any way that I could. So that's community. So the revolution against Johnny Boy really starts at home, and then it can spread out. But let's take a look at something that kind of did work, okay? And we'll start with something really kind of simple. You know, when this country was founded, we had a few firearms, and I know things were different back then, but the case was people had them. So that when we were invaded, we could stand up and say no. Because those people were well armed, well equipped, and sometimes not just well armed, they were just smart and determined and gritty. And that's what we have to do. We have to get that same determination back in America. The United States needs to start fighting back within its own borders. And the citizens of the United States need to take on this war on killing sprees that Johnny started, the war on drugs that Johnny started. And we need to take personal responsibility because we've allowed Johnny to do that through not sticking to our word. And see, that's what happens. So I'm going to spend the rest of this talking about how did Johnny get into this shape anyway. Well, you know, if let's think about this. If a man's word was still his bond, which it's not, sadly that's become the case. But if it was, we wouldn't need police. Because if a man's word was his bond and he promised to do the right thing and then did the right thing, there would be nothing to enforce. Now, if he did do that and everybody else's word was their bond, their word would become to straighten this guy out or remove him from society. We wouldn't need attorneys to try the trials, judges to hear the cases. Pretty much government would be a very, very small thing. But instead, because a man's word is not his bond anymore, we have to revert to what? Laws. So, here's the thing. When we tell little Johnny that we're going to punish him, we should only tell him once. And then the first time he does it, the punishment should be swift, and it should be something he never forgets. Sadly, that's not the case, because like in the parenting little dramatization that I gave you, that's what's happened. So we tell Johnny, we're going to punish you for this, and then we don't. It's just a slap on the hand, right? So now Johnny begins to see that our word's not our bond. See, we become liars to little Johnny. And once we become liars to him because we didn't keep the promise we made him, good or bad, then our integrity is shot. Now, here's the thing, is your integrity can be given away, but it cannot be bought back with any amount of money. It's something that has to be re-earned. So, with that, it would help us start at home by not being liars to our children. If we set out a punishment, we should set out a punishment that's going to work first. Something they'll remember. And I'm not talking about corporal punishment. I'm not telling you to go beat your children. I'm totally against that. Do I think corporal punishment is needed sometimes? Yeah, but it's a rare occasion. But here's the thing. Why ground a kid, send it to its room where it has a TV, a computer, a tablet, an iPad, an iPod, and I don't care because they have all that stuff? Well, the thing is to isolate them. No one likes to be isolated. So you isolate them because they have done wrong. You shun them. And that shunning should be from the whole community inside the home, or the whole community inside the community. So we're going to talk about that more in episode 3. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Be good to each other, and peace.